Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cardiff City World. I'm Si. Welcome back to the channel. It's Sunday. That means it's the Breakdown podcast. Cardiff City are into the hat for the next round after a 3-3 draw with Stoke, winning on penalties. There is lots to digest, lots to discuss. And as always, I welcome opinions from everybody, whether they agree with me or not. We're going to have a look at some of the stats. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about some of the individual performances, among other things. It's going to be a very interesting hour or so. It's difficult to know when to start, really, but let's start with the starting lineup. It was a mixture of squad players, a couple of youngsters in there, which was really great to see. Overall feeling was that I was very happy with the starting lineup, real happy. I got the centre-back pairing correct in what I hoped for, and I was really pleased, not just that they were selected, but also pleased by how they performed. I thought Aaron Ramsey looked good. I really quite liked his partnership with Manswerk. There was a lot of nice rotations and interplay. They seemed to understand with each other when to go, when to stay. Louis Giles, I was really happy for him to get his start. It's interesting, right? Because I've been, and among other people, been calling out for him to get some game time over on that left-hand side. But I'm not sure if this was the game for him away at Stoke. Very difficult for him to really show what he could do in an offensive point of view. I thought he did all right. He wasn't poor by any means, just did all right, solid. Joel Bagan is fast becoming the kind of unsung hero of the season. And he's very unlucky because if it wasn't for the fact that Callum O'Dowda hadn't been in such great form this season, I think Joel Bagan's your left back all day long, all season. I thought he was superb again at centre back. And I really like having a left-footed centre back is massive, especially for the way we play. But I just think having a left-footed centre-back, someone who can bring the ball out of defence and is good at passing the football, it really opens it up. And then when you've got two technically really, really sound players in like Ramsey and Manswerk in front of them, that is just a nice trio that I like to see. Really, really great. And look, I thought Rhys did a real good job in a very difficult situation because he was up against Lewis Kumas, and as much as I've been very complimentary of El Ghazi since he come back from his injury, I think he's looked really good. Defensively, I didn't think he helped Rhys out too much. And Rhys struggled at times, not through anything, that he did wrong particularly. It was just that Lewis Kumas is banging form. He's so quick, and it's a very, very good finish. And I think it was El Ghazi who switched off and left him for the one goal, and he gets in behind. And that was the danger. Like, I thought we dealt with that sort of threat in behind a lot better than we did against Leeds. And look, we started like a house on fire. Within, I think, 5 minutes, Ruben Colwill has got a shot off, and he's gone on and scored the next one. I thought Ruben was excellent. We'll talk about him a bit later. And it's interesting because one of the things I've said about him is that he looks better when he's got people to pass to and people running in behind. And I thought he did well with Salic. I thought he did well with Ramsey behind him, talking to him, and El Ghazi kind of getting up and about. Willock, I'm frustrated by it because I know what he can do. In the first half, he puts a lovely crossover for Salic, and Salic slightly mistimed his jump for the header, and it goes wide. That was a really good bit of play, that was. And you're thinking, right, go on, Willock, go on, kick on now. And I wanted to see him take the game by the scruff of the neck, particularly when we went 2-0 up and we're kind of cruising a little bit. I wanted to see Willock take the game by the scruff of the neck, like he did away at Millwall recently. And he just didn't, and he didn't quite get going. So I thought El Ghazi and Willock did okay, but didn't take their opportunity to really say, I should be starting against Portsmouth in the next league game. I think Salic is really pushing Robinson for an opportunity, whether you played them together or Salic gets the start. But I really feel that that Salic has done his chances no harm at all. I think he's put his hand up and said, pick me. I deserve a go. I really like his work off the ball, his pressing, his energy. But I also like his movement and his runs. He looks like a real poacher and a real striker. And I think his goal is a real clever finish. So many strikers would have kind of tried to go around the defender, where the keeper and the defender are coming together. So many strikers would have tried to go around, and he just uses his long legs, a little toe over the keeper, and it's a real poacher's goal. I like it. But another one who I think really is pushing for a first team spot at the moment, particularly with Darlin's injury now, is Will Fish. I think back-to-back FA Cup performances have been excellent. I thought him and Bagan, for such a young partnership, looks solid. Don't think they had massive issues with anyone. Good on the ball, good positionally, good. Ethan Howworth, again, the man in the FA Cup. And he's pushing. Ethan Howworth's got to be pushing that goalkeeper spot, in fairness, because there was a couple of goals in that Leeds game where you're thinking, could Alnwick have done a bit better, maybe? So Howworth done his chances, no harm, certainly. I still think Alnwick's distribution with his feet is better, and I think ultimately that's probably the main difference between them, because I think shot stopping, there's not loads in it. I know a lot of people prefer Alnwick, and I probably do as well. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? What do we make of Manswerk? Obviously had a cameo in midweek, and then has got a good bit of time yesterday. I thought, maybe as we kind of expected, almost technically very good. Looks after the ball, but very aggressive. He sat in the left-hand side of that double pivot more, got a good hour under his belt, 82% accurate passes. As I say, looked after the ball. His long passing was something which caught the eye for me. He had 4 long passes, 2 of which was successful, but he looks like he's got that vision whereby in the transition, if you've got wingers like Ashford and Tanner and Robinson up front who are going to go in behind, and Salic, who will go in behind, he looks like someone who can find them in one pass, as can Ramsey. I do worry about Aaron in that deeper midfield role when we're in the championship and it's bustling and it's aggressive and it's fast. Like, I wonder whether he'd be more suited to the 10. We are stacked at the moment in the central areas, and Omar Rhys has got a very pleasant selection problem. But yeah, I thought Sivert Manswerk had a good sort of full debut. Let's have a little sort of look at Ramsey. Got a good bit of time under his belt, 63 minutes. Positionally, he sat relatively deep, dictating play. He's such a Rolls Royce of a player in possession. 84% accurate passes, looks after the ball. A difference between him and Sivert is he only made 3 long passes, so 1 less, but all 3 made their mark. All 3 found their destination. He also won 2 out of his 8 ground duels, 1 out of 1 aerial duels. He only lost possession sort of 10 times within the game, picked up a couple of fouls. But it was the interceptions more than he got 3 interceptions and 1 tackle. He did get dribbled past a couple of times, and I don't want to be like, oh, it's your fault, it's this fault. I did think he was at fault for the Kumas's second goal. He gets sold the dummy and he kind of just stops. Maybe a bit of rustiness there, but there's a lot to do after that where people have got to get their bodies in the way. But for me, that's a little bit too simple, just to throw in dummy and then we're in the box. Like, everyone has got to be a bit more switched on. But overall, I just thought the standout players was probably the spine. Howworth, Fish, Bagan, Manswerk, Ramsey, good. And then Ruben Colwill, he was everywhere. Tended to drift more to the right. he does do that. But I also think part of the reason he does that is because often Willock looks to cut in, whereas El Ghazi does hug that touchline a bit more. And when Ruben does play, he'll kind of go into the space which is more available. But again, do you know, for a number 10, he had 76% accurate passes. I'm happy with that for a number 10 because they take much more risks. He, 4 out of 7 successful dribbles, scored his penalty shootout goal under a lot of pressure, won 7 out of 12 ground duels. And this is what I've been talking about with him. He wins the ball back a lot, much more than people give him credit for. Also won 2 out of 3 aerial duels. Did lose the possession 18 times, but I expect that from a number 10. Expect that. Won a couple of fouls. Also had 5 clearances from a defensive point of view. Didn't get dribble past once. A couple of tackles. Ultimately, I thought he was excellent. 2 goals, 2 good finishes. He's very awkward to play against. Drifted around everywhere, dictated the play. And pretty much everything which Cardiff did, he was involved in. Everything which we did good from an attacking point of view, he was a big part of. Played 120 minutes, which is obviously good for the fitness, good for that. I would say that indicates he's not going to get a start against Portsmouth. That's my personal opinion. I might be wrong. Salic, I'm so happy about him at the moment. Like, everything which he does is what we've been missing. The pressing up front, the working, the running behind, having a bit of a target for crosses and long passes. And he does look after the ball as best he can. Won 6 out of 9 aerial duels, something which we have lacked over the recent years. 3 clearances as well from a defensive point of view. I really like him, I gotta say. And I think he did his efforts no harm at all in terms of playing. So El Ghazi played 82 minutes before he was replaced by Will Alves. We will talk about Will Alves in a minute, but El Ghazi actually looked after the ball really well. And, he had 86% passing accuracy. He had 5 key passes. So statistically, I thought, yeah, he did all right. He did when you look at his stats, he did real good, really. Only lost possession 8 times, looked after the ball, like I said, had a couple of interceptions, things like that. Got dribbled past a couple of times. I would have liked to have seen, and this is strange to say from a winger, and it's probably an indication of the modern game, and particularly when you look at his heat map, it's very much in the other opposition half, is not much in the defensive areas. And maybe he does that because he doesn't feel that he's particularly great at it. But I just felt with Kumas, we could have done with him just dropping in a little bit to double up and help Rinamoto. But then it's also on, the midfield to get across and help. And he did switch off El Ghazi right for the goal for Kumas' first. Willock, on the other hand, defensively got back a lot more. Played 120 minutes. Really, really looked after the ball. He had 90% accurate passes. Successful dribbles, 1 out of 2. Scored his penalty shootout goal just about. He did only win 2 out of 9 ground duels, but it's not really his game. And didn't sort of get any defensive clearances and things like that. Got dribbled past a couple of times, but again, that's not what he's there for. I thought Willock and El Ghazi, did all right. Not amazing, but I don't think either one of them took their chance in terms of really, really pushing for that first team spot in the first 11 on Tuesday. Like, when I'm thinking in my head, right, who's my first 11 going to be? I'm not sure either one of them makes it. Maybe El Ghazi on the left. Yeah, maybe I could go with that. I assume Ruben Colwill's not going to start because he played 120 minutes and there's only a couple of days. But let's talk about the bench players, because some of them had an impact, some of them didn't. Some of them had more of an impact than others. Jesper Darland, I see a lot of people giving him grief. I just think, let the guy settle. And look, yes, he gives the penalty away. Yes, he gets injured. Yes, he probably should have got rid of it quicker. Did he get a shout from his teammates to say the guy was coming? Should he be more aware of it? Probably, but it's unlucky, isn't it? He's just clearing the ball. He does not see the guy's coming from behind him. He does not see him coming. So he's unfortunate. And it's a blow to have him out because I think him and Gukas make a good pairing. And I think Jesper Dahlin has been good more when he's been bad. So I'm not worried about him long term. I think people need to cut him a bit of slack. But he wasn't on for long. I think he played 12 minutes. So he statistically is almost irrelevant. He's, two out of three accurate passes and very little. Callum Chambers, he is the rock for us in the midfield. He's such a important part of the structure. But even him now, I think, is not a nailed-on starter. Go back before we made these signings and before some recent games, he was almost the first name on the team sheet. Guaranteed it's going to be Chambers and one other. But I think there's more pressure on him now, which is good. But I thought, he was very, very good when he came on. Looked after the ball, 80% possession, accurate passes, 54 touches. Did well. Did everything you want out of him. Won 3 out of 4 aerial duels, 2 out of 4 ground duels. Just a solid performance from him. Scores his penalty, did well. Callum O'Dowda, I thought, did really well coming on in the second half. And actually, O'Dowda, he slotted in at left back predominantly. He is, I really like O'Dowda. I like his attitude. I like his mentality and the way he genuinely cares about Cardiff City. He fights for every ball. I would rather see him in a wing back or winger role than left back, particularly when you've got Bagan, who looks so good, and you've then got the young talent in Louis Giles. I don't really want to see O'Dowda at left back. I want to see him at left wing. He offers, and this is not necessarily a dig at Chris Willock. I don't want to have a dig at people, but Chris Willock has been very inconsistent for me. I see what he can do, and I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go. And then he just doesn't do it. O'Dowda, if you can put him on left wing and just play him there regular, he's going to give you width. He's going to get the ball in the box. He's going to do really, really well. And I've been really, really just impressed by him all season. And I feel like if we could move him up to the left-hand side on the wing, either him or El Ghazi would be probably my current choices for left wing at the moment, if Tanner's out for a while injured. And I think O'Dowda at left wing will create goals for Salic, for Robinson. And by having O'Dowda left and Ashford right, they'll hug the touchlines, and that creates more space for either Robertson or Colwill to drift into, because they're not coming in and taking his sort of the space that he wants to go into. So I prefer those. I don't really like the inverted winger thing, the way we play. It does work if you've got O'Dowda at left back, but O'Dowda at left back defensively gives me anxiety. He's not a left back. I understand he can do it and he fights for every ball and it's all right, but I'd rather see him on the left wing. Joe Rawls, good, solid, what you'd want, an experienced player coming on around the hour mark. Just very, very, exactly what you needed from him. I like him, in that double pivot on the left-hand side. I like him playing more as the 6 and just interceptions and looking after the ball, moving it along. And he's got the ability to break lines with his passing when he needs to. 91% accurate passes, 4 key passes, 3 out of 4 crosses successful, 3 out of 5 long balls successful, 1 successful dribble attempt, 3 out of 5 ground duels, only lost possession 6 times in the time he was on the pitch. Joe Rawls is doing his job really well at the moment. Yes, he had a bit of an off day the other day, but they all did. And I also think that wasn't the game for him physically and athletically. I actually think he was excellent against Swansea. I thought he was really good last night. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got Chambers, you've got Rawls, you've got Manswerk, you've got Ramsey, you've got Robertson, Colwill. You can't fit them all in. And I'm pretty sure I've left someone out there as well. Obviously, Turnbull to come back as well. So there's so many choices for those central midfield options. And I think the good thing with that is you can go game by game look at the opposition, see kind of what they do, and then build around it. So it's really exciting. I think our squad is deep. And do you know what was really interesting yesterday? Really interesting. No Perry NG. No Matty. Obviously, Jamal Collins, that's not a surprise, but it was very interesting to see the no NG or Matty, because both could probably do with the minutes, particularly NG. And then you look at it, and you're looking at the squad, and you're like, do you miss them from the squad? Like, if you look at the players who are going to play over them, I would argue on form, maybe not. But we will discuss the squad and maybe the match day squad for the Portsmouth game. And as I said the other day, hopefully it doesn't become a problem, because we are going to have to leave out one or two senior pros every match day. Will Alves, debut for Cardiff City. Everything that we have been lacking: pace, directness, exciting, young, athletic, skillful, flair, creative, everything we've lacked over the last 18 months, 2 years, maybe longer. Real excited by that Khalil cameo. He came on, he played 38 minutes. Accurate passes, 100%. Long balls, 1 out of 1 successful. Successful dribbles, 2 out of 3. Won 4 out of his 6 ground duels. That was something which you wouldn't necessarily have expected from the skillful winger, the creative player. Quite aggressive in the tackle, successful in the tackle. Only lost possession 6 times. Fouled a couple of times, had a couple of interceptions and stuff like that. And when you look at his heat map, really high and wide. And there'll be a game when everyone's fit, where we're able to put out Tanner on one side and Alves on the other side. And I'm going to be like a kid in a sweet shop. Like, I'm going to be so excited. That takes me back to what I just fell in love with: football. Wingers, one-on-one with a fullback, running at them direct. Like, that is just what I idolized when I was growing up. And that excites me, And I tell you one thing as well. You look at this squad, and we're going to discuss the depth of it now. All of a sudden, on paper, not only have we got a very good squad, we've brought the average age right down. Right down. We've got a nice experienced spine, but you look at some of the players who are really exciting and who could play a big part in our sort of latter part of this season, second half of the season. Yusuf Salic, Ruben Colwill, Alex Robertson, Mansvik, Willock, Giles, Bagan, Fish, Alves, Tanner, Ashford, Simic. Callum Robinson's only 28. Like, we've got some real good options. And what I really I love to see, Kean Ashford rested completely. Didn't need to bring him on. Just let him rest his young legs, get ready for Tuesday's game. Same as Alex Robertson. I don't even think Alex Robertson travelled. Great. Really successful day's work. Yes, could have done without the extra time on penalties, but actually, for some of those players, they needed that minutes. They needed those minutes. And they had to show tremendous mental strength. It's like, if you look at it purely psychologically, 2-0 up, cruising, playing some nice stuff, looking good. Rubens controlling the game. Salic doing well, in his first start. Mansvik, first start, controlling the midfield. All of a sudden, switch off, get caught. Lewis Kumas, great finish. Good for Wales, that he's in such good form. And then all of a sudden, this mixture of squad players, injured players coming back, young players, finds himself, we were 2-0 up, suddenly we're 3-2 down. Do we fold? And this is on the back of an absolute pasting by Leeds United. So mentally, did we fold? Did we go into our shells? Did we stop taking risks? Did we stop being creative and expressing ourselves as footballers? ourselves like I did it. But you know what I mean? No, he did not. El Ghazi, Colwill, Chambers, Rhys, Rawls, Updowda, express themselves, play great football, get back into the game with another good goal from Ruben Colwill. And then we had chances to win it. Not many, but we had a couple where we could have won it. And then it goes to penalties. Yusuf Sadic, so unlucky to miss his, sent to keep it the wrong way, but hits the bar. And you just think, it's not going to be our day. Up step the experienced guys, your Chambers, your Rawls, put it away. Willock gets a bit lucky, but he gets it in. He doesn't matter, gets it in. And then Ruben Colwill comes up, steps up for the penalty. And I'm sure there was some nervy people who have been critical of him. And I never had a doubt that he would score. I don't know why. And penalties, I don't even normally watch penalties, let alone penalty shootouts. But yeah, easy work. Great penalty, great finish. Composed in his celebrations. And it was great to see. It was great for that squad, that young squad, to be able to experience that. Even the guys who didn't get on, like Matt Turner and Simic, for them to be around that. And, Matt Turner's already a cult hero because of his antics after the Swansea game. But he's also a good keeper, by the way. It was good to see Simic on the bench. I would have liked to have seen him, if I'm honest. But for him, to get that experience of travelling up, FA Cup, great. Overall, almost a perfect day. Would it have been nice to just cruise to a 3-0 victory? Yeah, but for a lot of those young players, so you look at Fish, Bagan, Giles, Willock, Colwill. I know Willock's not really young, but he's not old either. Salic, Alves, the boys on the bench. That as an experience is so beneficial, to go to extra time, to go to penalties, to be up and then down and then battle back into it and go to penalties and win. Massive. They'd have been absolutely buzzing on the way home. Absolutely superb. Very happy with it. So let's talk about it. Who's getting missed out who's missing out, if fit, who's missing out on the matchday squad this Tuesday? Portsmouth, a massive 6-pointer in the league. But ultimately, we've got not too many players by any means, but we are stacked. And not everybody is going to be able to play. Not everybody is going to be in that squad. We look, and we're scoring goals as well, by the way. Take the Leeds game out of it. We are scoring goals most recently. And I think for a team which looks so lacking in creativity and pace and just did not look like scoring for much of this season, that's exciting in itself, because we need to score goals if we're going to make sure we stay up. So, yeah, I'd like to hear you guys, who's not making the squad on Tuesday. I think Alnwick comes back in. I think Rinomoto's nailed on for right back. Although, he played 120 minutes. Maybe Perry NG's been pulled back for that. I wouldn't make a lot of sense to me, but maybe. I think Rinomoto's right back. The centre back is interesting. With Darland out, what would you do? Would you go Gutas and play Fish on the left? I do not want to see Gutas on the left ever again. But do you go Fish as the left centre back? Do you go NG as the left centre back? Do you go Bagan as the left centre back? Which obviously then might decide who you play at left back. Me, I really like Bagan, and I've been banging the drum for Will Fish all season that he should get an opportunity. And now I'm like, I really like Bagan at left centre back. I think he offers so much, bringing the ball out and the way he progresses it. I think he can be a real stalwart for us at the left centre back. So I would go, and this is only me. I think Bagan will be left back, but I would go with Bagan at left centre back. Left back, I would probably go against everything I said earlier, and I'd probably go with O'Dowda. Probably. Because if we were playing at home against Portsmouth, then I'd probably go with Louis Giles. It's a big ask to ask him to make his debut on Saturday away at Stoke in the Cup and then go and play at left back away at Portsmouth in his first league start. I would like to see it, but I don't. I think it's a big ask. So I would probably go Bagan left centre back, O'Dowda left back, but I wouldn't be upset if we had Fish at centre back and then Bagan left centre back. Your midfield, like, what's the best combination to go up against Portsmouth? It's a really fascinating one. I'm gonna have a quick look and see what sort of injuries and whatnot Portsmouth have got, because that could obviously play into what combination we go for in that midfield. It's a big, big game. We need to get the 3 points, and if we do get the 3 points, it gives us a lovely cushion. Their most recent game in the league, they lost yesterday to Sheffield United. They line up in a similar system to us in a 4-4-2-3-1. I do like Dizel, who plays for them in the right back, in that the left hand side, sorry, of the central pair. So they go Dizel, Potts, Lang. So if Ramsey's fit, I think he plays, but I don't think that we need to be rushing him. So I'd probably go with. I would probably go Chambers and Sivert, if I'm honest. That's what I would do. I would go Chambers and Manswerk. Chambers and Robertson. And I'd probably put Ruben in the 10. I think Ruben deserves an opportunity I think he did enough to force his way into the side, but he played 120 minutes, so I don't think he plays. I think it'll be Chambers and Manswerk with Robertson in the 10. I then think left-hand side, do you put Will Alves in? Like, do you put him in straight away? It's a big ask for a lone youngster. So I'd probably go El Ghazi off the left, Robertson in the 10, Ashford back in on the right, and then Robinson up front. And then the bench is where it gets really interesting. So Hauver's your keeper. I would have, you're going to have Yusuf Salic straight away. You're going to have Will Alves straight away. You're going to have Ruben Colwill straight away. So there's 3. Then you're going to have Willock, 4. Joe Rolls, 5. Maybe Louis Giles is on there for the fullback cover if he doesn't get that start. Ramsey's going to be in there. And I think then there's only one space left after that, if I've counted correctly. So who misses out? So there would be, going off our bench against Derby, there would be no room for... So look, there'd be no room for Mate, no room for Luke Pearce, no room for Perry NG. It's a very difficult decision. Maybe Giles doesn't get the bench. Maybe Perry NG would get that bench role ahead of Giles. So it'll be interesting. Interesting which way he goes, and does he? Right, here's the thing, and this is going to sound like a criticism, but it's not necessarily. But is it the easy option to drop the youngsters out of the squad? Is it the easy option, say, to drop Louis Giles out of the squad? He's been on the bench recently. He had his start yesterday. He did all right. Wasn't amazing. Wasn't bad. It just was kind of all right, good, did his tidy. He didn't do what I was hoping he would do, but I think it's the wrong game, like away from home. At home, I think we'll see him overlapping and we'll see, his crossing is excellent. I think he was just safe, is probably the word I would use yesterday, but it's understandable. It's his first start for the football, in the FA Cup and whatever. So it'll be interesting who we pick. But what I was saying is the easy option is to drop the young players for me, and then you keep in your mate A's and your NGs and stuff. But in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, and it's all opinions, you guys may disagree. The brave decision is to have those young, exciting players on the bench. Not only are you giving them experience and time, but you're also encouraging them, and you've got attacking, exciting, athletic options on the bench. So, who would you like to get in the FA Cup, by the way? What's your ideal? I would like to get a winnable game in the next round, and then maybe get a big draw. I'm different to everyone else. Like, everyone else wants like a big team. I'd actually just like to keep chugging along, getting very winnable games, and just get to the final. That'll be like, I cannot tell you I mean, and a lot of you guys who are similar age to me or older will understand the surrealness of going to watch Cardiff in a final at Wembley was just out of this world. That Portsmouth game was something I never, ever dreamt. Well, obviously I dreamt of it, but never thought it would become a reality. But then to go and watch us twice at Wembley and go and watch us play against Liverpool in the Carling Cup, it was, again, massive. Like, it was just life, just not like life changing. It was just unbelievable. So I'm all for, I love the FA Cup. And yesterday's game was everything I love about the FA Cup. It was goals. It was nervous. It was aggressive, exciting, off your seat, can't watch. Everything I loved about the FA Cup. Everything I love about it. It just made me feel like a little kid again yesterday. But let's have a look in the chat, see what the guys are saying. I see Paul, Damien, Jonathan, all members. Welcome, Glad, John Watkins, Alex Sims, Curtis, right, mate? Richard Newell, Rhys Lasky, Gavin Kelland, all welcome to you all, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Let's have a little look at what you're saying. Alex Sims says, next round is my birthday weekend, so if it's an away, I'm definitely going. Yes, mate. I think the next away I'm going to do, I'm hoping to do QPR. Looking forward to that. Done one for a while. Take my boy. So if you do QPR away, please come and say hello. Come and have a chit chat. Always enjoy chatting to people. Rhys says, "Oh, balls! I thought I started at 9, so I'm glad I double checked. No, it's 8:15, mate. 9 o'clock is for Angel and Rob and all them late starters because they got young kids. All my kids are grown up, or like I got a teenager in my house still. You don't want to speak to me as it is." Gavin says, "Great to have Ramsey back. Stoke fans are vile, and I'm going to enjoy beating them again at the Cardiff City Stadium in April for the league game." Yeah, it's sad, mate. Like, they boo him because Ryan Shawcross broke his leg with an absolute disgraceful challenge. That's why they boo him. Insane. Absolutely insane. And it's really leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Like, you got to be honest. Like, I don't really care about booing players, but like, when you're booing someone for that, you just look like a bell. Just horrible club. You know, I'm sure there's some of them all right, but like, just horrible. Damien says, any update on Darlin's injury? No, the last I heard was just that he got a bit of a gash on his shin, but he's probably going to be out for a game, would have thought. Andrew says, thanks to Buller, who showed bollocks to put Bagan into the squad at the start of the season. Yeah, that's a fair shout, mate. A lot of us, including me, thought he might be on the chopping block. But Joe Bagan is, like, the way he stepped up this year, like I said many times, he's been really unlucky that O'Dowd has been so good, because otherwise he would just be in the squad constantly. James says, what was the booing for? Yeah, it's because of the Shawcross thing. And that's what I mean. It's like, what are you doing? Curtis says, Brian at home for me. Yeah. Damien says, Plymouth, the last team I want out of all of them, to be honest. It's interesting because we absolutely gave them a pasting in the league, but they've signed some players and they look a bit happier. And obviously beating Liverpool, they're going to be on a high. They'll fancy the chances against anyone, especially someone in their own league. So there's no game will be easy, will it? Phil says, I thought it was a really good cup tie, end to end, some good goal, poor defending, finished off by a penalty shootout. nice that we were on the winning side of that. Yeah, 100%, mate. Jonathan says Plymouth would likely play their first team. It's a big financial boost for them to go through. Yeah, you're getting into those rounds now where teams are just going to play their first team anyway, going into sort of the quarterfinals and that. Gavin says, Damien, let's get the next round. Let's get into the next round. I see Plymouth as an easy game. Get a chance to play the younger players. I'm not so sure about that easier game. They've made some really intelligent signings in the January window. So I think, whilst it's not a game I would fear, I don't think it would be a walkover as it was in the league game. Damien says, my niece wants Man United home as she's blind. It's hard to travel to Old Trafford with her, so it'd be nice to take her to a home game and fulfill her dream and watch City smash Manchester United. Well, yeah, those of you who just watch Rhodri gigs on football, I just said that me and Rhodri said we'll have a bet, and because I said Cardiff would beat United if we get them, especially the way United defend at home. We definitely have them if we're at Old Trafford. Richard says, I hope you get your wish, Damien. John says, we now have a squad with players pushing for places. Players know they're being challenged, and that can only be good for the rest of the season. 100%, mate. There's some really, really, places are up for grabs now. And, let's just pluck one out of the air. If I'm Alex Robertson, been very, very good for Cardiff City. He's been excellent. But he's had a break this weekend. Ruben Colwell's come in, bagged himself a couple of goals, had a really 9 out of 10 performance. Really, really creative, really at the center of everything good that Cardiff did aggressively, but also did his defensive job really, really well as well, which is what Robertson, a lot of people think that's the difference between the two. So now Robertson's under a little bit of pressure. So will we see the best out of him in the next games? This can only be a good thing. Damien says, will be an amazing day. To be honest, I'm a good commentator. The language is awful. Yeah, no swearing, mate. It was an enjoyable game, that was. I really enjoyed the FA Cup game yesterday. And to see the team fighting for it and just having the mental strength to not let their heads go after they went 3-2 down, deserve a lot of credit for that. Paul says, I thought Fish and the keeper should have done better for Kumas' first goal. Mansvik was good with Ramsey, as was Colwill. Probs Colwill best game for a long time. Yeah, I don't think, mate, honestly, right, I don't think Ruben's been anywhere near as bad as what some people will make out. Not saying he's been in great form, but I don't think he's been as bad as people would have you believe, sort of thing. I think Fish could have got across a little bit quicker to Kumas for that first goal. But I also, El Ghazi just loses him and he gets in behind him. So I think it's on El Ghazi and the right-hand side more than it's on Fish. But I do agree Fish could have got across quicker. It's a great finish, like an arrow, and it's powerful in the corner. Lewis Watts, welcome, mate. Said Alves is going to be some player for us. Yeah, it's difficult. It's his first game, cameo off the bench. But it was exciting to see everything. Like I said, everything we've missed. Everything. He also says, Lewis, can't wait for Portsmouth on Tuesday. Nearly sold out. Great support. Yeah, mate. Be a wicked trip, that will. Damien says, I love Colwill. He gets stick, but he's class. Just in spells. But that by far is best I've seen from him. He was very, very good, mate. Stood out a mile. And when you see that performance from him, you just want it all the time, don't you? If he could be that sort of 8 games out of 10, he would be top player. But he's youngish. You've got to find that consistency to take him to the next level. That's the next step for him is consistency. Consistently playing 7.5 out of 10 every week and above. If he can find that consistency, he's so difficult to play. He's so difficult to control physically because he's so awkward. He's not like your stereotypical number 10. I still want to see Mansvik or Chambers with Robertson in the 2 and then Ruben in the 10. I think that's really exciting, especially if you could have Tanner and Alves on the wings or Tanner and Ashford or Al, like two wingers who just looking to hug the touchline and get in behind, with Ruben in the 10 and then Robertson and Mansberg in that double pivot who can play those line breaking passes, could be so exciting. And look, Ramsey, people sleeping on Ramsey. If he can stay fit now for the rest of the season, I think certain games he can't play in that deeper role, same as Joe Rolls. Like when you're playing against really like strong, quick, athletic players who are like can just go like a Duracell bunny for 90 minutes, that's probably not the game for those two to start. But there's other role, you know, like Ramsey can play in the 10 for those games and get legs around him in the deeper positions. His vision, the vision of Aaron Ramsey and the technical ability is so far above anyone else in that squad. Like people are just sleep. I can't believe that people are sleeping on him either. But like you'd think the level of performances that he's put in over his career and the teams he's played for and the way he's played, even played for Wales, I find it difficult to believe that people can't envisage him putting in those types of performances for Cardiff City. Yes, he's got to stay fit. Yes, he's got to be getting around and stuff, but he looks after himself. He's got like trainers and stuff looking after his physical health. Just need to get him up to speed now. His technical ability is undoubted, undisputed. Graham says next round is on St. David's Day. Nice. It's going to be exciting to see who we get. Is the draw tonight or is it tomorrow? Anyone tell me that? Damien says goals from all over is a good sign. The hunger is back. It's looking really good. Fingers crossed we can finish mid-table in preparation for next season and get playoff places at least next year. I think we're building something. You look at the nucleus of the team at the moment and it's exciting. It's really exciting to see. And Omar Rhys is not doing his chances of getting the job any harm at the moment. Long way to go. A lot of things can happen one way or the other, but he's certainly not doing himself any harm. We're playing good football, defending well, Leeds game aside, scoring goals. We just need to get someone now, whether it's Fish or Bagan. I don't know how long Darland's out for, but so it'll probably, it will be Darland if he's fit, and just get that centre back pairing chugging along, just grinding out clean sheets. That's why I would get a proper left back in there and move O'Dowda up. Like O'Dowda is real good, and I'd rather see him not having to defend constantly because that's not his strong suit. Andrew says not convinced by Darland. Yeah, I see a few people saying that. I understand the sort of not sure, but I'm not worried long term, if that makes sense. I just think he's taking a bit of time to settle and find his consistency, find his rhythm. But I think I've seen enough of him to say that I think he'll be all right. For instance, I don't think he's a massive downgrade on Mark McGuinness, who we sold for 10 million or whatever it was. Damien says, O'Dowda's looking sharp. I agree, Si. Move him further up the pitch, give him the extra yards, and he'll give us what we need. Yeah, he's good for getting those crosses in and creating, mate. Gives us width. And also, he's not a defender. He tries his best and hardest, and he'll always give you 100% at left back. And I can see the logic to it sometimes, depending on who's on the left wing, depending on who the other team have got on the wings or what system they play. But generally speaking, I would prefer to see O'Dowda at left wing. Paul says, I'd keep El Ghazi for the second halves when opposition's fullbacks are tired. Yeah, mate, that's a good shout. I think he looks very motivated since he's come back from injury. And I didn't realise till the second time I watched yesterday's game, like how much he looked after the ball and how good he was in possession. I just sometimes want him to be a bit more risk related and go and try and do something a bit special. Maybe it doesn't come off, but maybe it does. But that's what I want from him. That's what I think he's the best at, is like when he's at the tip top of his game, he's probably our best forward, like talent-wise. I just want to see him maybe take a few more risks in the attacking third. Let's have a look. Joe Rawls' penalty, Andrew rightly says, was unbelievable. Top bins. That's that's how you take a penalty. Really, really great. Damien says Colwill and Ghazi on in the second half, running at tired defenders is crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's it, innit? And I think Alves probably doesn't start at the moment. So him coming off the bench with Colwill and El Ghazi, like those three coming off the bench against tired defenders is quite frightening, really, isn't it? When you think those three coming off the bench is not what defenders want to see. Gavin says Alves and Tanner on the wings definitely going to cause havoc. Yeah, that's exciting, isn't it? To think that those two will be your options at some point. And that's interesting. He says, Paul says, Rhys made a good call to move Alves from the right to the left wing, knowing that their left back couldn't run anymore with cramp. Yeah. And those little details are what count. Like, I'd be really interested to see, I would love to know, did Omar Rhys make that decision? Did it come from the coach? I'd love to see who saw that, just because I'm interested in that sort of thing. Rhys says, is there anywhere we can watch the full match highlights? I don't believe they're up on the app. Be nice to see how Alves got on in extra time. Yeah, they normally go up on the app, but they're not up. They weren't up earlier. So yeah, I can't see where I watched it. Let's have a look. Those types of tactical changes make a massive difference. Just the little details. Damien says he said to his mate that the Salas penny was going to miss, but it put doubt in the Stoke player's head, played into our hands. It was gutted for him. Yeah, it was a good penalty, mate. He just got a bit too much on it, and it just kept going up, and hit the bar. But it was exciting to watch. It was just a good game. What would based on those performances, based on like what we've seen, what would your 11 be against Portsmouth? Obviously, you've got to take into account who's played, who might be injured, who played a lot of minutes, who had a rest, etc. Like, what would your 11 be? And let me know. Let me know in the comments in the video, after the video as well. So someone contacted me by email today. I apologize I haven't got back to you yet. I will get back to you after the show tonight. But basically asked why comments in the live chat don't then show up in the comment section after the video. So basically what happens is when we do a live show, you've got the live chat where people on YouTube can write in, and then also people can write in on X as well. But after the show finishes, the live chat kind of disappears. And then there's just a comment section under the video. So like if I uploaded a video, I uploaded a pre-recorded preview on Friday, there's just a comment section on there. Sometimes if you premiere it, it has a live chat when the first playing of it. But generally speaking, there's a comment section. So what we always ask people to do is to comment in the comment section after the video, because that's actually what helps with the algorithm and YouTube and YouTube recommending our channel to other Cardiff fans and Championship fans. It's really frustrating because like if all the live chat comments went into the video comment section, that would be amazing for us, because we'd have hundreds of comments on every video, and then the channel would get pushed more by YouTube's algorithm. But it is what it is. But like, all I can say is the more videos that you can comment on afterwards and the more comments you can leave, that's better for us. So I always say, for example, if you're not able to become a member, I understand times are hard, stuff like that. If you're not able to become a member, that's, great. Please just make sure you're subscribed and you've clicked the bell. That's free. And just please leave a comment on the video, as many of our videos as you can. Even if you just leave a thumbs up or an Ayatollah or whatever. Obviously, if you're a member, you can use the different stickers that you can get, like the City logos and the rest of it, 1927 club logo. the more comments and more likes, the better. Also, if you didn't know already, we announced our latest live event coming soon. City Legends with ex-Cardiff City centre-back, the Dutch giant, Glenn Loovens, is coming back to Cardiff for one weekend. 25th of April, Splott Cons again, great venue. We've done the Bellamy one and the Joe Ledley ones there, and it was such a wicked venue to do the show. They were great with us. I can't wait to have Glenn over. Like, he hasn't been back to Cardiff for a long time. He's also not done a lot of like podcasts and media and stuff like that. So he's like raring to go, and he's not going to be doing like many or any others. I know he turned down a couple, so can't wait to get him, in the live event. I would love to see you all there. The boys will be there from the different shows. Everyone will be there. We'll have a fantastic time. And if you don't kind of know the layout of those shows, we effectively do. We have the guest on, and they sort of tell some stories and talk about their career and all that. We have a little break, and then we literally put the questions out with a microphone to you guys, so you can ask the guests anything. You can ask them whatever, and it is always a good time. You will have an opportunity to have photos, have a chat with the guest yourself, like one-on-one. The reason why I've always kept these events very, very small, I want them to be intimate. I want you, like the £10 you spend on a ticket, I want you to be able to chat to the guest, meet the guest, have a drink with the guest, have a photo, get them to sign something, whatever it may be. I want you to have that like real close one-on-one time. And so far, every single event has had wholeheartedly 100% positive feedback. If you're more interested in like what the previous ones have been about, if you go on Ace Podcast Nation, the Chopper ones are up. I think the Purse one's up. Andy Campbell, the Willie Bolam one I'm hoping to put out this week, and then the Joe Ledley one, which is wild. I'm hoping that we'll get that out probably the week after. But then putting them out so people can see like how good it is and how enjoyable it is. Details to buy tickets are scrolling across your screen, but they're also in the description to the episode, all over mine and the channel socials. I would really like to see all of you there. It would be wicked. There's not loads of tickets left, but it's bargain, tenner. Like, obviously there's 20 quid tickets as well that you get like an hour before the show with the guest, and got some other bits and pieces which go with that. I just want to see people there. I just can't speak like highly enough of the way the guests are. Like, they're so personable, and they will sit and chat with you and have a beer. And if you're my age, getting the opportunity to sit down with Chopra and Darren Pearce and Glenn Loovens and Andy Campbell and all these different people, like, it's just incredible. Bellamy and Ledley, it's almost like once in a lifetime opportunity stuff. So I encourage you to come. I'm not biased, and plus Jeff's coming over from Ireland, man. Like, that is dedication. I'm loving that. Can't wait to buy him a drink. It's going to be amazing. So please do get your tickets, come down. Anyway, enough of that. And if you're not a member, please become a member. Obviously, the members were able to get their tickets for the live events 24 hours earlier than the general sale. And we've got more live City Legends live events coming. Like, without doubt, there'll be at least, I think, probably 3 more this year at least. So yeah, exciting times. So, has anyone told me when the FA Cup round is, or do I have to Google it? That's the question, isn't it? Let's have a little look at some of these, some of the comments. A few people saying Man United's a very winnable game. 100% it is. Especially if we play them at their place, I think it's very winnable. They're struggling. They're still learning the system of the new manager and all that. So get at them. Get into them. I'm really interested by what the Rhys thing. Like Damien said there, he said, I always said Rhys came in as the fall guy. We had 1 point, and look at us now. Rhys has got him playing. We should finish mid-table with this attitude. Yeah, and it'd be fascinating to see what this board does. Because I don't think, personally, that Rhys is their choice for the manager. Like, I think they would like to look elsewhere. But I also think that he might put them in a position where they have to give him the job at some point. And I like that. Like, he's going to earn it. The Alves video, the documentary about his injury and stuff. Again, we talked about mental strength. Jesus, the mental strength of him to come through that at such a young age is something in itself. That bodes well for the future. He's got Welsh grandparents as well. Yeah, mate. I would love to see him. I'd love to get him signed up permanently just off that little cameo. Like, and the thing is as well, right, is you never quite know with loan players. I said this about Mansvik, but it goes for Alves as well. Sometimes when these players come on loan, you know, they might be just here for a couple of months and that's it. But some of them, they fall in love with the city, the club, the fans, whatever it may be. And you end up staying or they come back for another loan. So it's exciting. Like, we're only basing it on a small cameo, and he is young. So young players are not always the most consistent, but he's exciting. Like, everything we've lacked. Everything we've lacked. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Draw tomorrow at 7. You know, I was reading the comments and I was like, what's tomorrow at 7? What's tomorrow? The draw is tomorrow at 7. Thank you, guys. Jesus. What's the matter with me? Before I wrap up, guys, if you've got any questions, then get them in. Jamie's in the chat. Yes, Jamie. He says, cracking day yesterday. Real quality away end with a great atmosphere. Mate, my hat's off to you, my brother. Up and down the country you go. I love it. And what I would love to do, mate, is get you on again this week and we'll have a chat. But obviously you're going to Portsmouth Tuesday. Perhaps we can have a chat later in the week. Always a good time chatting to you, my friend. And on that point, actually, make sure you guys, if you haven't checked out the radio show, which I do on a Wednesday, which is also live streamed 2 hours on the channel. The first hour is Cardiff City World. The second hour is more Welsh football generally. But it's still really interesting. The Wednesday, I'm hoping we got this guy, a friend of mine who's a Cardiff Met fan, but he was a season ticket holder, Cardiff home and away, had every program he'd ever been to, every game, he had it all the memorabilia. And after the rebrand, he sold it all, started watching Cardiff Met in the Welsh League, and he's been on a journey with them and a half. So it's interesting, but it's also a sad indictment of modern football. So yeah, looking forward to chatting to them. Got a few guests again. We've been lucky, you know. Last week we had Glenn Loovens. The week before we had Mark Hudson. Please do check that out. And what I was saying about the comments with the videos, yeah, get them. I tell you what, Aaron Ramsey does give, and this is what I wanted to finish off. And Graham's kind of alluded to it there. He says Rambo directing players yesterday was something we've been lacking. 100%. So Joe Rawls off the field is an exceptional captain. He is absolute stalwart. He is everything a Cardiff City legend is off the field, and he's been a phenomenal servant on the field. Great footballer. I think he's a real good leader, and I think his leadership qualities fly under the radar a little bit because he's not like screaming and shouting and all the rest of it. But he's very much a leader, and he's very good. But we do lack those outward kind of leaders who can be calm under pressure, can get the team going when it's not. And Aaron Ramsey, by any shadow of a doubt, is a leader. You only have to go back to Wales 2016 run in the Euros and look at that Wales team without Ramsey in the semi-final versus Portugal. But before you watch the highlights of that or watch the quarterfinal with him, the difference in the team with and without him, yes, his quality obviously is a big issue, missing that. But his leadership, he's a real leader, and he'll be massive. And I thought it really helped him trying to get... it really helped Ruben having Ramsey behind him. Like, that really helped. I got distracted by Jonathan's comment. So Jonathan said, you missed the trick by trying to get Roger Johnson with Loovens. They work brilliantly as a pair. Well, maybe there's a reason why I haven't got Roger Johnson on with Glenn Loovens, mate. You never know. No, Roger is someone I'm trying to get hold of for a variety of stuff. There's a few I've been trying to get hold of Lee Tomlin to come on the radio show on Wednesday, because he obviously played for Bristol and Cardiff, and Gavin and Marlon Pack. But no reply at the moment. But I'm still trying. Got some friends who might know him as well, so we'll see. At the moment, we're looking for still working on guest for Wednesday, footballer-wise, but I'm sure we'll have some. Monday's the draw. Rhys looking promising. They'll get rid of him and bring Russell Slade back. Oh. I know, mate. Sorry. I was like still on the earlier comments. I hadn't got to it yet. I appreciate you guys. Jamie says, are they Rhys's signings though, or the boards? I think it's actually a mix. Some of them are board signings. Simic, for instance, was a board signing, but I know Alves, Rhys had a bit of input on, and I think he had a bit of input on Man's work as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Interesting that Jason Kumar's his name coming up in the chat there. One of the best loan signings that Cardiff ever had. On that note, you'll see below the tickets for Glenn Loovens' show. Like, if you can get a ticket and come along, please do come along. It'd be great to meet you all. Great to say hello, and whatnot. Jamie says Ramsey's a leader with a vision. That's the difference. Yeah, 100%, mate. His vision is unreal as a footballer. Jonathan says Lee Tomlin still loves Cardiff. Absolutely, he does. Just need to get hold of him. That's all. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Right, ladies, gentlemen, as always, it is an absolute pleasure to break down these games with you on a Sunday evening. I really enjoy it. Just having a bit of a deep dive into the games. Cardiff City phone-in tomorrow. I will also have my player ratings video out for yesterday's game tomorrow. And then Tuesday, we'll have late night match reaction with me and probably Matthew Angel. That'll be like right after the game. Yeah, we'll have a good chat. It'll be a late one though, like 10 o'clock or whatever. Straight after that game on Tuesday. The radio show will be Wednesday. Flower Hour, I'm not sure where that'll be yet this week, but I'm sure it'll be on at some point. And we've got non-stop content, 7 days a week, talking Cardiff City. Please spread the word. And if you don't do anything else this evening, and if you're not able to become a member, which I fully appreciate, I thank you all for being members. Please do comment on this video after it finishes. Just chuck a load of comments in there. Helps us out so much. Because obviously we want to keep growing the channel. We want to get up to the magic 1,000 subscribers. I think last time I looked, we were about 925 or something like that. So we're not far off. We've grown massively in the first year. Continue to grow. 7 days a week, Cardiff City. And most importantly, by fans, for fans. If you do want to become a member, click that QR code or press join on the YouTube, and it's easy done. That is what keeps us going. That is what allows us to do 7 days a week. It's always my pleasure. Thank you, my friends. In a bit.